Let's go. What's up? Okay, guys. Today we're doing something special. We're gonna watch my favorite show. It's not even every week now, so it's very special. Introduce all you people to it. If you don't know it already, it's called The Y-Files with AJ, and it is starting right now. Let's go. This is the premiere. Plus a commercial on Gaia. Gaia's cool. AJ has previously shot down wife. Gaia said most of it's not true. Although they were talking about Paul Hellyer, the defense minister of Canada, who has come out with the, talking about how the aliens are real. Even mentioned the Galactic Federation. I don't know if that's even known to all the governments or not. But here we're in my favorite game right now. Kind of hooked. It's not my favorite. I still, I gotta love. You gotta love the battle royale, but. So I'm just gonna activate my golden tree. I'm like 1/4 of the way to the next bonus stat on my new red sword. I can defeat every boss by myself, including the Elysium Guard. So if you want to get carried, join my party here, if you can. This guy here in Fertile Room 6, I don't want to call him out or anything, but he doesn't have a mic, or she doesn't have a sword yet, so I can't even carry her or anything. I tried earlier, but I realized she can't even fight the Forest Guard. So here we're just gonna activate my Frenzy. Once you got your sword with all the core, you don't need to fight bosses anymore. The core is just like it says. I realized Lumberjack Hero, being a hero. Help out your buddies or anybody you see. This life is about sharing and caring. Here we go. And later we'll talk about Trump.
This episode of the Y-Files
I'm going to show you some of the clips.
The Y-Files is brought to you by Rocket Money. Navy engineer Ed Cameron and his brother Duncan this time will be better than the last. A lot of good men died that day, and they did not die well. This new technology could turn the tide of World War II. Sacrifices had to be made. Ed hoped those sacrifices wouldn't be in vain. Just when they thought the experiment was working, all hell broke loose. They ran from the engine room to the deck. Like before, a swirling green vortex of light surrounded the ship. They kept running and gave each other a knowing look as they reached the end of the deck.
Yeah, but don't answer you guys right away.
Just as they were about to hit the water, Albielek opened his eyes. It was the most vivid dream
I'll
he'd
be
ever
checking
had.
it when I'm watching
It
the show.
felt like a memory. That June morning in 1977
AJ.
was the day Albielek became obsessed with the Philadelphia experiment.
I can't wait to see if he did bunks at Philadelphia.
You can get yourself clean. You could have a good meal. You can do
YMCA.
No way. I told you that Gertie could stay if you paid for the water. Camels drink 30 gallons a day, I'm not giving you a dime until you pay the late water bill.
Gray water bill? Did he find me already? Oh no, this is why you need the money.
Late water bill? Who's Gray water bill?
Well, a few months back I needed money for a new business, and you wouldn't give me any, so I went to see Don Barracuda. You know the Godfather?
The Godfather?
It's a fish pun for the Godfather, the head of an organized crime family.
I know what it is. Wait, what happened?
Well, Don Barracuda lent me the money, but I'm late on my payment. Greywater Bill is muscle for the Don. If I don't cough up some dough, he's gonna break my fins.
You went to a loan shark?
Loan shark? No, he works for the whole school.
No, Look, you need Rocket Money. It analyzes your spending habits and helps you create custom budgets.
Oh, did you just muscle your way into today's sponsor?
I sure did. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills,
camera
and manage your money better.
As soon as my
securely
frenzy's done.
identifies recurring charges, canceling unwanted subscriptions. In addition to canceling subscriptions,
I got a little bit echo for my mic because I'm watching live. I'll check that in a second too. 50 seconds.
Rocket Money will negotiate your bills for you Anything from internet service to cable and phone bills.
No, this could really save my dorsal fin.
Wi-Fi's are the only ads I don't skip through. Best ads on TV, except for maybe Super Bowl ads.
With over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. To save more and spend less, go to rocketmoney.com/Wi-Files or click the link in the description to get started for free.
rocketmoney.com/Wi-Files to get started for free?
You got it.
Thanks, Ewan. This could really get... Uh-oh. I think he's here.
Grey water, Bill.
Yeah, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
What do we do?
Nothing I can do, Ewan. Looks like I'm sleeping with the fishes tonight.
Nah. He is a fish. Alright, my frenzy's out. I gotta fix this. Oh yeah, what am I don't need to skip out of there. Hold up, hey.
As World War II loomed, the United States found itself unprepared. America wasn't a superpower then. Its military was only the 10th largest in the world, half the size of England's. The U.S. military needed an edge. Building an army would take years, so that edge would have to come from technology. During World War I, Nikola Tesla worked with the United States Army on remote control technology and ways to detect submarines. Tesla said he created a particle beam weapon nicknamed Tesla's Death Ray, though there's no evidence that it worked.
Yeah, or is there?
Okay, there might be evidence it worked. A little too well.
Tesla's Death Ray link down below, yo.
The war began in 1939. Germany seemed invincible. By 1942, Nazi forces occupied almost all of Europe, North Africa, and huge parts of Russia. The U.S., now part of the Allies, appeared to be on the losing side. Desperate for an advantage, the U.S. military once again looked to science. Tesla had ideas for electromagnetic weapons, including scientists working with the Navy would lead the project. To operate the equipment, von Neumann chose two Navy engineers, brothers Edward and Duncan Cameron. They manned their stations in the engine room, and when the call came in, they switched on the machine. Within a few seconds, the ship resonated with a deep humming sound. Then a glowing green fog appeared. People watching from the dock and nearby ships couldn't believe it. The Eldridge was gone. That is, until it mysteriously turned up in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. But the strangest part? It was seen there 10 minutes before the equipment was turned on.
Wait. So it was invisible or it time traveled?
Both. 20 minutes later, the Eldridge reappeared in Philadelphia, but something had gone terribly wrong. When the Eldridge reappeared in Philadelphia, sailors on other ships cheered. They thought the experiment was a success. It wasn't. For the men aboard, it was a nightmare. Men were found fused to parts of the ship, screaming in agony. Ed and Duncan Cameron survived the experiment, but other survivors weren't so lucky. Some had severe burns and radiation sickness. Some went insane. Some men simply vanished. Despite the disaster, the U.S. Navy saw potential. They brought in their top scientific consultant, Albert Einstein, for advice.
Yeah, if you're gonna phone a friend, he's a good one to have on speed dial.
He sure is.
So you're going with the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers, and that the speed of light in a vacuum is constant, regardless of the observer's motion. Is that your final answer?
On October 28, 1943, after repairs and upgrades, it was time for another Philadelphia experiment. Ed and Duncan Cameron took their posts. The call came in from the bridge. It was time to go. Ed turned on the machine, which spun to life with the familiar low humming sound. The Cameron brothers waited nervously. A few seconds later, there was an explosion. The machine was shaking itself loose, and fires were breaking out everywhere. Ed and Duncan raced topside and saw the same bright green vortex surrounding the ship. They jumped over the railing, expecting to land in the water in the Philadelphia shipyard.
You got it.
Instead, they fell through the bright green light and hit dry land. They were still covered in light, but now the light was coming from a helicopter and the headlights of a Jeep. Two military policemen yanked Ed and Duncan to their feet and drove them to a building nearby. They were escorted down a long hallway and placed into an elevator. An MP hit a button, the door closed, and they felt themselves going down, a long way down. When the elevator doors opened, they saw a familiar face, Dr. John Van Neumann, the physicist in charge of the experiment. But Van Neumann looked old, very old. Van Neumann said, "Welcome to 1983, boys." The Cameron brothers looked at each other confused. Did he say 1983? That's not right, the year was 1943. Then Van Neumann said, "Come with me. A lot has happened in the last 40 years. Ed and Duncan thought they were jumping to safety when they jumped overboard. They had no idea they'd be jumping through time.
Oh, is he fighting the boss now? I wonder. Or is the boss fight?
Ed and Duncan Cameron found themselves in an underground facility beneath Montauk Air Force Station on Long Island. Officially, it was a decommissioned radar station. Unofficially, it was the headquarters of the Montauk Project, a continuation and escalation of the Philadelphia experiment. And like the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project could manipulate the fabric of time and space. But now the manipulation could be controlled.
Controlled by what?
Psychics and alien technology.
Ah! This story feels like Christmas morning. Please continue.
Central to the experiments was the Montauk chair. The chair used computers to generate electromagnetic fields that interacted with human brainwaves. Nikola Tesla's theories on resonance and energy played a role in the chair's design. The technology that connected the human mind to the machine was reverse engineered from UFOs. Many recovered UFOs had no physical controls. They were operated by the mind of the pilot. The Montauk chair amplified psychic abilities, allowing subjects to manifest objects, see distant locations, and travel through time.
I hope it had good lumbar support. Time travel is murder on your lower back. Murder.
Moida. It's Moida.
Both Ed and Duncan
Straight
used
New
the
York.
chair effectively, but Duncan was naturally talented. His abilities made him the focal point of the tests.
It's huge.
During one intense session, Duncan's eyes rolled back, his voice became unnaturally deep, and he said he could see other worlds and parallel dimensions. He said the multiverse is real. Edward wasn't as proficient, but he could still
Wolfram
travel
disagrees.
through time.
He thinks there's one
On
universe.
occasion, Ed and Duncan
He says he
traveled
could be
together
wrong,
to the
though.
year 2137, and they did not like what they found.
Yeah, I have great hopes for the year 2137. I hope I'm here to see it.
By 1987, Duncan had mastered the Montauk chair. He could visit any time or place and bring Ed with him. The
Well, they
brothers
left.
sat in their chairs. Duncan
I was gonna
focused
help
on
them.
sending them 150 years
Back to
into
my
the
mission.
future, to 2137.
All
There
by
was a
myself.
flash of light, and suddenly they were in a wasteland.
Oh no.
In the
Earth is a
distance, they saw
wasteland.
cities and ruins. They walked past the occasional outpost, but most locals didn't want anything to do with them. But some were willing to talk.
Pulling tree up.
Sometime in the late 2020s, a nuclear war broke out between the West, Russia, and China. Every big
No
city
way.
on Earth was destroyed, and most small cities too. Governments were gone. People became tribal again. The war caused a climate catastrophe. that
Sorry,
put the
what year did they say
country
that was?
Only about 100 million people. The war caused a cities too. Between the West, Russia.
Them. But some were willing to talk.
Sometime in the late 2020s, a nuclear war
Oh
broke
my
out
God.
between the West.
We're
Russia,
almost in
and
the
China.
late
Every
2025.
big city on Earth was destroyed, and most small cities too. Governments were gone. People became tribal again. The war caused a climate catastrophe that put the coastlines underwater. Only about 100 million people survived.
Despite this disaster, people still expressed hope for the future.
There aren't many of us left, but we're still moving technology forward. Not as fast as we'd like, but we're resilient. We still innovate. Everyone is building weapons, of course, but we've also been able to cure most diseases. And we think we've discovered a way to heal the planet. It's just a matter of time,
Just a matter of time, she said. Duncan and Ed decided to test this theory. They went into the future 300 more years, to 2749. This place was very different. Ed and Duncan described it as a utopia. Society had rebuilt itself in harmony with technology and nature. Buildings floated using anti-gravity. Energy was clean and limitless, pulled from the quantum vacuum. Pollution didn't exist.
How dare you!
How dare you!
And governments didn't exist.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But if there's no government, who's running things?
Artificial intelligence.
They put AI in charge of the whole
That'd probably
world?
be better than us.
Oh, you humans. Yeah, this won't end well.
What?
People lived in peace and
Fish.
wanted for nothing. Money was no longer necessary.
Yeah, okay, floating
Technology
islands.
provided food, education, entertainment, and anything else they needed. Education and personal development.
There's only 100 million people
prioritized.
left. Why do you need floating
People
islands?
spent their lives learning and exploring their interests, free from the burdens of labor
Now the
and
floating islands are
survival.
gone.
This was a world where humanity had not just survived,
Now they're back.
but thrived. This future was paradise. The thought of returning to Montauk's cold underground rooms was depressing. This place was blissful. Ed and Duncan could finally be free of the infamous Montauk Project and the Montauk Chair. So, defying their orders, they decided to stay.
Defectors! Defectors! Traitors! To the Americas!
Ed opened his eyes and checked his watch. Though he and Duncan lived in the future for 2 years, no time had passed. This was a superpower. They could travel anywhere in time and the world. And then Ed heard Duncan's voice in his mind. Not just anywhere in the world. We can travel to any world in the galaxy.
Wait, what?
What?
A flash of light transported them to another planet.
Dope. I want to go to another
It was
planet.
stark and desolate.
I think I'll go tonight.
Bathed in perpetual twilight. The sky was an eerie shade of purple. The air was
That's what we'll do
thin and
after
tasted metallic.
Special episode on
Jagged
astral
mountains
travel.
and barren plains stretched to the horizon.
If you could go anywhere in the galaxy, why would you go there? I mean, I would go to Ryza, or at least some place with room service and a decent lobby bar.
Ed was also curious why Duncan brought them to such a harsh place. Duncan said this planet is home to the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Duncan described the inhabitants as tall, slender beings with long limbs and large almond-shaped eyes. They communicated telepathically. They mastered teleportation. They could manipulate matter at the molecular level. They were nearly immortal. Ed was about to ask a question, but then Duncan closed his eyes, and once again there was a flash of light. Then they were in a lush jungle, and judging by the sound, this planet was teeming with life. And Duncan said it was, then transmitted an image into Ed's mind. A huge city built into the jungle landscape.
What?
Ed
That's
asked
cool.
who lived there. Duncan motioned to the jungle behind him and said, "They do."
Other than the
Ed
spiders.
turned and saw 2 reptilian creatures watching them from the jungle.
Lizard people?
Yep.
Does this kid have a death wish? If there's only one rule in interdimensional space travel, it's do not go to the lizard people planet.
Ed got the same impression. He said the creatures didn't look friendly, and Duncan said they're not.
Do
We should
lizards
get out of
ever
here.
look friendly?
Then he fell to his knees like he was kicked in the gut. Ed helped him up and asked if he was all right. Duncan said, "No, Ed, I'm not. We need to get back to Montauk. There's something I have to tell you." Ed Cameron opened his eyes, disconnected from his chair, and bolted down the hall. He burst into his brother Duncan's room. Duncan looked terrible. He was panting, sweating, and his skin was pale. Dr. von Neumann walked in next.
Ed, I'm sorry. Your brother is dying. Every time he jumps, he gets worse. Every jump spins off a new timeline. He's created paradoxes we didn't foresee, and he's damaged the fabric of space-time itself.
What?
Ed asked if there was anything that could be done.
This all started in Philadelphia back in '43. We need to stop that experiment from ever happening. So, as soon as Duncan is strong enough, you two will make one last jump. You'll go to the Eldridge and destroy the equipment.
I would hate to go back to 1947.
That should repair our timeline.
Ed agreed to go, but what happens after that?
When you return from the Eldridge, Duncan will... I have to be honest with you, Ed. It's dangerous. Duncan will project his consciousness and yours into the brains of infants in the late 1920s, before the experiment was conceived. Your host is named Al Bielek.
Ed was confused. He was born in 1916. Would he coexist with this other person?
All your memories will be suppressed. Al Bielek won't know that your consciousness is there. We need to keep your and Duncan's knowledge hidden. The other Ed and Duncan Cameron will never be a part of the experiment. But if we need you, this version of you, in the future, we'll know where to find you.
Now Ed understood what had to be done.
Yeah, at least somebody understands. This story sounds like it was written by Christopher Nolan on magic mushrooms.
I'll say.
The consciousness transfer was a security measure. Ed and Duncan had a lot of valuable knowledge. If the Philadelphia experiment never happens, then the Montauk Project never happens.
It's kind of like a prison.
And maybe that's a good thing, but it makes sense to keep their knowledge safe, just in case. Ed felt a sudden shiver and asked von Neumann a question. He was pretty sure he already knew the answer. He asked what happens to them here in Montauk after the consciousness transfer.
Once we're sure that both your consciousnesses have been transferred safely, I will tell Duncan a phrase. The time is now. It's a subliminal message. The time is now.
Dun, 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 dun.
As soon as he hears the phrase, he will summon a monster from another dimension. That monster will destroy our equipment, our files, everything. And when that's done, it will kill us all.
Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Al Bielek worked as an electrical engineer, and his co-workers described him as thoughtful and intelligent. But he also had a fascination with fringe science. In 1985, Al went to Montauk, New York, to hear Preston Nichols give a presentation about how he used electromagnetic waves for various applications, from healing to amplifying psychic power. Al wanted to learn more about his psychic research. Nichols walked on stage with his assistant, who he introduced to the audience. His name was Duncan Cameron. Though he'd never seen Duncan before, Al swore he knew him. After the presentation, Al introduced himself.
And we talked for about 2.5 hours. About halfway through this, I got this strange feeling in the pit of my stomach, and he was dying from someplace. So finally asked him, I says, Duncan, do you have any feeling, any idea that possibly you know me from somewhere? He said, yes. He says, I do. I says, from where? He says, I have no idea. I said, I have the same feeling. I have no idea where it's from.
Preston smiled and said he wanted to show them something. A few miles east was an abandoned military base, the old Montauk Air Force Station. Preston said they might find answers there. They explored the empty buildings all day, and Al had an eerie sense that he'd been there before.
We felt something, we didn't like it. We went driving, finally parked the van at the park, and we went wandering on the grounds, wide open. Fences were down. Further into the grounds we went, the more ugly we felt about what we were feeling. We were not nauseous, but we were very highly disturbed by the fields around that property in broad daylight.
Over the next couple of years, Al's memories of the Montauk Project returned. Preston Nichols told Al he was brainwashed. Preston said the same thing happened to him. Preston Nichols lived two lives simultaneously. In one, he was an electrical engineer. In the other, he was the director of the Montauk Project.
Let's to deep dive on the Montauk Project and Preston Nichols down here with all the other words.
Al Bielek was brainwashed the same way. And now that his memories were returning, his recurring dreams started to make sense.
I'm a therapist.
In the dream, Al's name was Edward Cameron. He worked with his brother Duncan on a ship. There was an accident. They jumped overboard, and then Al woke up.
If you've been thinking
And in
about
1988, everything fell into place. Al, now retired, was watching TV late one night.
At 4 a.m. in the morning, HBO announced that the next feature of the evening would be the Philadelphia Experiment. It started to trigger memories. First at the Phoenix Project, then in '88, when I the first time saw the movie, it hit me like a bomb, and I started to remember the Philadelphia Experiment.
Because of the movie, Al's repressed memories of the Philadelphia Experiment came flooding back in.
If you've ever seen the movie, The Philadelphia Experiment, they show the opening scene taking place in a bar in downtown Philadelphia. That did actually occur. The name of that bar was the Blue Lagoon. I was there quite a bit. In the movie, they show two principals running the equipment who were having their last night out. The taller one, played by, I think it was Robert Perret, was my brother. The other one who was shorter, and they didn't have a role model, and with the girlfriend was me.
Over the next 2 years, Al Bielek recalled all of Edward Cameron's memories and the truth. And the truth was ugly. The Montauk Project was a black ops government program to create psychological weapons. Thousands of people were used in experiments against their will. Most were boys between 10 and 15 years old. Some of these children remember the experiments. They're known as the Montauk Boys.
They wanted a large number of programmed boys to be used for mind control operations. The Montauk Boys program, basically, what they were doing, they would pick up boys, young men, off the street. So they started picking these kids up because they were quite literally homeless. When they were done programming them, they would send them back to where they had come from, waiting to be used.
There was a psychic by the name of Cameron who was one of the ones used, and many of us boys who were in our early teens at the time were used energetically to boost him while he was in the chair.
In 1990, Al Bielek started giving lectures nationwide. He wanted to expose the government cover-up of the Montauk Project. He wanted the public to know about the human rights violations, missing children, about the abuse.
I went to Jack Pruitt, the station master, and said, look, we'll let it change the program. They're beating our these kids to death, and they're being treated very badly. They refuse to become part of it.
Al Bielek and Preston Nichols said the Montauk Project focused on mind control, time travel, interdimensional travel, and psychics. The U.S. government denies these claims as ridiculous. But are they? Did the U.S. government research time travel and interdimensional travel? Yes, that was the Gateway process. Did the U.S. government use psychics for military and espionage? Yes, that was Project Stargate. And the big one, did the U.S. government conduct mind control experiments on people against their will? Yes, that was the MK Ultra program.
Many unwitting men, including themselves, all with the use of Atom Cavern. I was only 9 years old when this sexual humiliation began. I was in what looked like a laboratory, and there seemed to be other children. I was strapped down, naked, spread eagle, on a table, on my back. Dr. Green had electrodes on my body, including my head. I was exploited unwittingly for nearly 3 decades of my life, and the only explanations given to me were that, quote, the end justifies the means, and, quote, I was serving my country in their bold effort to fight communism. Fight communism.
Yeah, we got links to all that stuff down there too. Down in the place.
There's no hard evidence that the Montauk Project happened. But does it really matter? The evil acts allegedly committed during the Montauk Project did happen at one time or another. I bet there are evil acts being committed against our citizens right now. So I'll make this promise to the scientists and researchers working in secret government programs. I'll stop reporting the crimes you commit against your own people when you stop committing them. And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Nothing you can do to stop me. This video isn't available anymore. Jokes. Jokes.
I've covered the Philadelphia Experiment and the Montauk Project before. Today's story is Al Bielek's. Al came forward in 1989 and quickly became a star in the UFO/conspiracy community. He's been on over 40 radio shows, including Coast to Coast. He's headlined over 40 conferences. It's easy to see why. He has a great story, and Al tells it well. But is it true? Well, that's tricky. We're not asking if the Philadelphia experiment or Montauk Project happened. We're asking if Al Bielek's story is true. Al said he was born in New York in 1927. That's true. But he also said he was age regressed. In the future, he was sent back in time to when he was a fetus. Edward Cameron's consciousness was sent back with him. Al said he served in the Navy, but there's no record of this. No record of Edward or Duncan Cameron serving on the Eldridge or any Navy ship. On the day of the Philadelphia experiment, the Eldridge was in New York. Al says all records of the experiment were erased by the government. The Philadelphia experiment conspiracy theory really starts with two men, a UFO fan named Carl Allen and a UFO writer named Morris Jessup.
There's a link down there for that too. We got links for these. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Get your links.
Get your links
right
here. On sale.
The time travel storyline wasn't part of the Philadelphia experiment legend until the movie was released. Al's story contains a lot of details from the movie. And Al's story has changed over time. Originally, he jumped from 1943 to 1983. But over the years, he added 2137, 2043, 2749, 3543, and all kinds of other dates. Sometimes Duncan stays behind in a certain time. Sometimes Al stays behind and works as a tour guide in the future with anti-gravity and floating cities.
A tour guide on an anti-gravity city? Okay, folks, please follow me and stay with your group. We're floating. Okay, stop. And we're floating. No flash photography, please. And we're floating.
Al's story is flexible. When challenged, he said he's discovering new memories repressed from brainwashing. The Edward Cameron backstory evolved too. But Ed Cameron never existed. On Al's website was a picture of Edward Cameron, except it wasn't. It was really a Princeton yearbook photo of a Cameron, Alexander Cameron III, class of 36. Al says the picture is Edward Cameron from a different timeline. Al's used other photos that were proven to be fake. Al said John von Neumann ran the project. Von Neumann was a real scientist, but he died in 1957. How could he be in Montauk in 1983? Al said he faked his death for protection.
What?
Dr. von Neumann is still alive today. Official records say that he died December or sometime in 57 of cancer. They gave him a new identity, but he remained on the project. He was a director of the Phoenix Project until 77.
Chop chop.
Whereupon he became a consultant because he developed a split personality. Today he is the split personality, if you will.
Al also said the Office of Naval Research was involved in the Philadelphia experiment. The experiment happened in 1943. The ONR wasn't formed until 1946. There's plenty of evidence Al Bielek made the whole thing up. But when backed into a corner, he used the different timeline trope as a crutch.
Now that crutch worked well in Marvel movies.
But did it though?
No, it did not.
Al said nuclear war happens in 2000. When that didn't happen, he said 2005, then 2015. Al Bielek passed away in 2011, so we don't have an update on when the nuclear war actually starts. While Al Bielek was gaining fame telling his story, other people were popping up saying the same thing happened to them, but they'd add new details. Al would then incorporate those details into his own story. That's how the Montauk Project eventually became part of Al's story. Now, I won't go into the Montauk Project connection here. I cover that in another episode, where I have a lot to say about Preston Nichols.
Not far off of the nuclear war between China and America.
Things that you won't like. I talk about Al Bielek in that episode too, but it's a different version of his story. Today's was his original version with some new details like traveling to other planets. I included that chapter because it was fun.
There was a chance for me to say lizard people. And people love it when I say that.
They do.
How did you know you can buy the very own lizard people mug from the White House store? Just go
No merch plugs. We do those at the end. Al Bielek never provided physical evidence or any information that could be confirmed. We do know that he was always a little paranoid and into conspiracies. A former co-worker of Al's was asked if he believed the story. He said Al was a nice guy and intelligent, but he wasn't surprised to hear the story.
I find this story pretty hard to believe, but it sure seems like a logical progression for Al from what I recall. He was always talking about underground bases and government cover-ups. He had one story after another about secret research, UFOs, extraterrestrials, you name it.
Another former co-worker also confirmed Al was into all this stuff, but it didn't bother him.
Hey, if I could get people to pay to hear my once upon a time bullshit stories, I'd do it too. More power to them. Caveat emptor. Everyone has to exercise his or her own wisdom in deciding if someone is the real thing or not.
And that's the main theme of the Y-Files. I try to give you as much information as I can. It's really up to you to decide what you believe. Now, true or not, these stories spark our imagination. They keep us interested in concepts like time travel, psychic phenomena, alternate realities, and other mysteries
of nuclear war.
We'll only unlock these mysteries if we stay fascinated by the possibilities of not what is, but what could be.
I need to find people that need help while
Also,
I search
these
for wood.
stories remind us to keep an eye on the government.
Keep an eye.
Government research is real.
Or you get sent away to
We
Russia.
know this because of whistleblowers from Al Bielek to Bob
Who my friends
Lazar
are.
to Phil Schneider to David Grush and many more. But don't blindly accept their claims as true.
No.
And don't instantly assume their claims are false. Demand proof. You believe them? Good. Investigate and prove it.
Show us the
You
aliens.
think they're lying? Good. Investigate and prove it. We only know about MK Ultra, Stargate, Project Blue Book, and all the others because whistleblowers came forward. They made unbelievable claims that most people
I'll jump in
dismissed.
Robo-Man's
But
lobby.
some people believe the stories.
See how
They
much I have to cut.
investigated and found
I think he's
proof
got like
that the claims were
$100
true.
for people. Never mind.
On one side are true believers. On the other, die-hard skeptics. Both sides constantly try to prove the other wrong. Good. Keep investigating. Both sides want the same thing. What we all want. What we all deserve. We deserve the truth.
Do we?
Thank you so much for hanging out today. My name is AJ. There's Hecklefish.
Where's the beef?
This has been the Y-Files. Get fun or learn anything, do him a favor, subscribe, comment, like, share. All those buttons, click those. That really makes him happy. And like most topics we cover, today's was recommended by you. Now, if you have a story idea or something you'd like us to explore, head over to theyfiles.com/tips.
After
Don't
Files?
forget, the Y-Files is also a podcast. Twice a week, I release deep dives on the stories we cover here, plus exclusive episodes that don't make it to the channel.
Oh, not a new server.
You can find the Y-Files Operation Podcast
Well, see if
anywhere
anyone
you
needs my
listen
help.
to podcasts. Now, if you need more Y-Files in your life, check out our Discord. There are thousands of people on there 24/7, and they're into the same weird stuff that we are.
C-rank?
It's a great
Oh my
community,
gosh.
it's really supportive, it's a lot of fun, and it's free to join. Now, stay up to
Where's
date
this
with
guy?
all things Y-Files by checking out our production calendar at theyfiles.com/cal. There you'll find our episode schedule, upcoming podcasts, live streams, all kinds of stuff. And special thanks to our patrons who make this channel possible. Every episode of the Y-Files is dedicated to our Patreon members. I couldn't do this without you. And the community that we've created around the channel is something very, very special. And it's all thanks
With these
to our members.
mofo wood
If you'd like to
choppers.
support the channel and join an amazing community, consider becoming a member
you're
on
here?
Patreon. For as little as $3 a month,
Where are
you get
you?
access to
C-rank?
perks like videos early
you
with
go.
no commercials, a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, access to merch only available to members, plus you get 2 private live streams every week just for you. The whole Y-Files team is on the stream, and you can jump up on stage and talk directly with me and anybody. Ask a question, suggest a topic, or just say hi. Or just lurk in the crowd and listen. People do that, and that's fine too. Another great way to support the channel is grab something from the Wi-Fi store.
Grab a Hecklefish t-shirt, or one of these heckle mugs that you stick your fist in, or a delicious beverage, or both if they can fit. As long as you're enjoying yourself, I'm not here to judge you. Or grab something with my face on it,
You wanna
or
fight?
one of these squeezy, talking animal, fish
Forrest
doll,
Gump?
toy dolls that talk like me.
Let's go.
Those are the plugs, and that's gonna do it. Until next time, be safe, be kind, and know that you are appreciated.
Turn up my volume. Volume. Now I'm a hero.
I love my UFOs and paranormal fun, as well as music, songs singing like I should.
Who's next?
But then another conspiracy theory becomes the truth, my friend.
Ends, and it never ends.
No, it never
Ends. Dun, dun. Dun.
I feel the crap get out, got
Uh-uh.
stuck inside my
I'm not gonna help you kill the same lame boss.
of being only too aware. Dick Stanley
You gotta do it yourself.
the moon landing alone on a film set with shadow people
Go over.
The Roswell aliens just fought the smiling man, I'm told, and his name was Cold. And I can't believe I'm dancing with the fish. Head to fish on Thursday night, Wednesday, J2, and well, all through the
Oh,
night.
you can't come here?
All I ever wanted was to just hear the truth. So well, all through the night.
Oh yeah, here, come.
The Mothman sightings and the solar storm still come to Augusta, the secret city underground. Mysterious conversations, planets are to Project Stargate, and what the Dark Watchers found. In a simulation, don't you worry though.
AJ, hey, oh hey, baby, you want some help? Leave. Hey Ray, that means he's fought. Are you guys running? Alright. No after files? Guess not. Okay, guys. Trump assassination. Crazy. Let's go check. But first, I want to see if there's let's just see if there's anything. If there's any after files. I can't believe they don't do the after files. They make so much money. Look at all these things. Nothing is real. Ancient mysteries. Chat live. They haven't done an after files in 1 month. They make like thousands of dollars per after files. I guess they're making too much with their 3 million subscribers. That's 4 G's an episode by my estimations or more. Plus the commercials. I don't even know what they're making commercials. They might be making more of commercials. Okay, anyways, Trump assassin. Oh, double S, both 2 S's. That's what I messed up. Okay, who was this guy? I want to talk about that a little bit. So this guy's 20 years old. He originally was a liberal, but then he applied to be Republican for the last election. Plot details revealed. So this girl is talking about it. So this
if
guy.
you give me literally 39 seconds, I'm gonna show you.
No, I can't see any more of this guy.
Subscribers on YouTube.
Because you have commercials. You put enough money in the commercials, people will watch
Hey
your
guys,
videos,
have
even
a
if it's just
lot
for
of
quick.
breaking news to bring you
Yeah,
this
let's hear
morning.
it.
As you
Breaking
likely
news.
already know, and as Soccer brought you
Yeah,
yesterday,
because we already heard
a
this.
would-be assassin
This guy climbed on the roof of the
attempted to
building.
take the life of President Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania, leading to horrifying scenes and one rally
Yeah, I thought it was a
killed,
triumphant
two
scene.
others in critical condition.
First of all,
we have a lot of updates.
the fact
for
that
you this
anybody,
morning
if you
that
mess
I'm going to
around,
bring to you, including
don't F
statements from
around,
Trump,
you can get taken out.
Biden.
Anybody,
We
even if
now
you're
know
president of the United
the shooter has
States,
been
mess around enough,
identified as,
people can take you
we got
out.
some photos
This
and
Trump
some,
is
reading the tea
freaking
leaves of his political
badass,
history, which is confused,
because he was
to
like,
say the least.
what?
So bring you
He
all
was,
of those
you know,
details. Also,
he wasn't scared.
mounting questions
about
the state of security at this
Yeah,
rally.
the question is,
and how
like,
this individual
people are,
was able to get these shots off.
frosting?
How he was able to come within inches.
Alright, AJ77, I'm
of taking
coming.
the former president's life.
Forrest
So
Guardian
I'm going to
and
go through
frosting, let's
all
go.
of this. I want to start though at the beginning with what unfolded at the rally. Of
I
course,
missed
this
it.
is disturbing. So just a warning before we get into any of this. I'm going to show you the full video. It's about 1 minute and 45 seconds. You can see the moment when former President
Bro.
Trump realizes that something is
Let's watch them
going
fight it.
on. You can see him duck.
Oh, they're
You
doing
can
all
see
right.
the Secret Service
They got this.
come in and take action. You can see former President Trump striking a defiant pose and telling the audience to fight.
He's like, let me
fight,
get my
fight.
shoe.
Let's
It's
take a listen
Gucci.
to all
No, I don't know if
Take a
it's
look
probably
what
some-
happened.
New York apparently makes the, like, Italians in New York make the best clothing, the best shoes in the world. They claim even better, you know, than the Italians. Frost King? Yo, why would we fight it again? Come. Come here. Frost Emperor? Yeah, buddy, I'm here. Let's kill it. Crush this guy. Is this gonna make you a hero? Let's find out. Let me get my shoe. Don't worry about the gunshots. Let's get my shoe. This guy says, let me get my shoe. It's like, what? And then they're like, Trump, Trump. No, USA, USA. Okay, let's go. To the boat, brother. Let's go. USA, USA, USA.
So, just an unbelievable image to watch there, and as you can see blood on one of his ears. We since have indication from him, and by the way, some extraordinary images have come forward that I'll share with you in just a moment, but that a bullet did graze his ear. That is like
so close.
That blood that
This
you
guy's
see
so
across
close to
his
murdering
face.
that guy and going down in history.
Public
Now he's,
consent,
if you're gonna kill someone, at least do it right.
The,
This guy's sad. 20 years old, doesn't even have any social media. So there's nothing he's saying, or that's what they say. But you know what? Okay, the question is, he doesn't have a message for anybody? Maybe he got deleted. Imagine this, somebody comes, could have been anyone that killed this guy still. It's like, they're gonna say this guy's a random dude. Imagine someone says they're gonna kill your family, and they kidnap like your little sister or something, and they're like, you have to shoot the president,
if you can see
or else.
in this photograph, this that they have circled here, that is the bullet coming
Look
right
at that, they got a
at
picture
him.
live,
The same
picture
photographer
of the
captured
moving
moments
thing.
after this, when
Register now? No, I
Trump
didn't wanna fight this
feels something on his ear.
Ah,
and
whatever.
then
This is how you
a
kill the
moment
event
after
boss,
that,
guys.
He looks at his hand and he sees blood.
Should I
and
use the
after
hack?
That's when he gets down.
No, you guys wanna
Just
see a hack?
Look at that image, capturing projectile,
Come here.
a bullet aimed right at the former president's head. Just absolutely astonishing. So, of course, immediate questions raised about how the hell this could happen. You have
Grow your small business by growing your audience with Constant Contact's list growth tools. Turn website visitors into leads with customizable sign-up forms. Get found with our all-in-one Google Ads tool. Expand your reach with Facebook and Instagram ads and more. Try our customer list growth tools for free at ConstantContact.com.
Back. And 2, 1 on the 0. Let's go. Oh yeah.
No offense, but if you still think stocks, real estate, or crypto are the best passive investment in today's economy, I'm sorry, but you got it wrong. There's a little known trend attracting millions of dollars a day right now called Audible Upload. Audible, owned by Amazon, is one of the biggest sources of audiobooks and podcasts in the world. An Audible Upload can generate ongoing income with significant growth potential. In fact, they're one of the best ways for everyday people to start an extra income stream in their spare time.
I do this on a part-time basis, about 5 to 10 hours a week. I earn about $40,000 a year. There's no other job that pays with that little time.
I'm at just about $1,500 for this month, and that's only with one book. And it was a book that wasn't even gonna publish.
So you want to know how you can get started with Audible Uploads too? Well, give me 60 seconds and I'll show you. Hey, my name's Amy Sanderson, and my friends the Nicholson twins here became multi-millionaires in their 20s. Not by winning the lottery, but by taking advantage of Audible Uploads. And since then, they generated over $100 million online. Been named the 19th fastest growing company in America by Inc.com, and most important, helped tens of thousands of others learn about Audible Uploads too, myself included. For a limited time, they're sharing how you can take advantage of this little-known Audible secret to create more freedom in your life with their short, free video training that covers their one upload method. And you can access the video instantly by clicking the link below and entering on the next page. Now, I don't know how long this up for,
so close.
But for now, it's completely free.
Yo, I got hit. You see that? Once in a while, these people hit you.
Trump
You didn't
has
hurt
service
me.
protection. Everyone has to go through a magnetometer.
Yeah, but he was outside and he climbed up top of the building.
With a gun. Well, we now know the shooter was actually positioned outside of the rally area on a rooftop.
You guys can see how it's done here. When it comes up, you got some time.
Later in the segment,
a couple times you can use your.
Who saw him, who were just outside the rally, locals who were standing nearby, who wanted to hear what the former president had to say, who saw this man walking through a field, climbing up on this.
Yeah, look at this. They saw him. They're pointing at him.
With a gun.
And they're like, "Oh, why did nothing happen?" It was only that's only like 10 seconds.
To indicate
Because if you have so as you guys can see, I use a hack. You guys just stay away.
So he was spotted beforehand. Let me just show you a map.
I gotta kill these guys.
Of the scene so you can get a sense of where the shooter was in relationship to Trump. So you can see this is the proximate area of the stage, they say, where Trump was shot. This is the whole area is called the Butler Farm Showgrounds. This is a county that's just north of Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, so just north of Pittsburgh. And this rooftop here is the location of the suspected gunman's position. So what I've seen has indicated this is about 150 yards away, which may sound like a lot, but if you are a trained marksman, is apparently not a very far distance. Just incredibly fortunate that with whatever security lapses occurred here, that the president was not seriously injured.
Yeah, by the way, we're live on YouTube right now. Captain of the Kraken, all one word.
Whose condition remains unknown, who was described as being in critical condition. Let me show you next.
Please subscribe to my channel.
Some of the footage that has just emerged of people who were there at the rally.
I made you a hero.
Before the shots ring out, who on the ground spotted
nice. Now let's make you a legend.
This would be a
my boy AJ the legend. Just watch a show by a guy named AJ. AJ from the Y Files. This helps inspire me to become a YouTuber.
Pull this video out for you so
got amazing videos.
Like on the ground.
And if you can get to the next area, I can kill the Elysium guard too. Look, he's on the roof. He's got a gun.
So this is
And
disturbing.
they're wondering, like, oh.
No, at this point, so you can hear them say he's.
These guys that saw that, it is literally like 5 seconds
Someone's attention,
from when he says
and then
he's got a gun.
The shots ring out, and you know what?
Frost King.
From there,
I don't know.
Since this
I don't know. I'll help him
event,
kill it
we have
one time. Let's go.
We actually have a couple of
Frost
statements
King, because I know you
from
can't get
former
it.
President Trump. Let me go ahead and read you both of those. And put this first one up on the screen. He said on Truth Social, "I want to thank the U.S. Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response to the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is
who got killed? Someone on stage? Like,
in our country.
this guy randomly shooting people too.
Shooter who is now dead.
Nothing's known. He has no.
I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place." Very Trumpian turn of phrase. So I realized what was happening. God bless America. His later statement I can bring to you as
God bless America. You guys need help.
Up on the screen. This one occurred after that one. This one was from this morning. He says, "Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday. It was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes out to the other victims and their families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizen who was so horribly killed. In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united and show our true character as Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win."
Trump didn't even get the guy's name of the person. He should have at least got the name, the guy who died
from Wisconsin.
In a way, his honor.
Referring there to the fact the RNC is hours at this point away from beginning. We have gotten word from
so I wonder if he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win.
So no change.
All his followers are gonna be like, he's a hero.
I mean, just an insane moment in history, a horrifying one that has really shaken the entire nation. We also have first video that was released by Trump's team of him walking unaided down from his plane. We'll take a look at this.
Comes out of the hospital. He's like, after a surgery on my ear, I can still walk downstairs without tripping.
Just him walking down, no problem, handling the stairs, and so this put out, also the statement of defiance and also
statement.
He is okay.
Biden can't walk downstairs, apparently.
Let's take a look now. President Biden put out an initial statement on Twitter.
Let's look at Biden trip down the stairs.
Short statement. He was at his beach house in Rehoboth, Delaware, when this all occurred, and gave some brief comments just condemning, as everyone else has, political violence, and we do know
violence in general. You know, I mean, I condemn all the lies these politicians tell as well, but
they're advertising in a show.
I mean, but it does show you mess around, somebody's willing to kill you.
And we
although
know that
I don't know if this guy did it. Some 20-year-old giving up his life. For what?
We don't have the details on
you gotta know you're gonna get killed when you do this.
A little bit of what
you're not getting away. Not in his strategy, anyways.
So we know now.
We just
tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly. I hope when I get back to the telephone. Look.
When I get back to the cell phone.
In America, this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. One of these
for all we know, he orchestrated it.
We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like.
If Trump died, there's no one really that's gonna win against
I want to
Biden.
thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people.
And they literally could have just threatened the guy's family. If somebody had your family, are you gonna kill? Yeah, you're gonna shoot the president. As long as they don't kill your sister, your mom, your dad, or whatever, right?
A little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if we don't. I'm not able to do for it, it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally is a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America.
Then again, of course he doesn't like that idea.
It's just not appropriate.
Anyone could kill him too.
Everybody.
Although, you know, any day could kill him with
Everybody.
his,
I'll
with
keep
his
you
age.
informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well.
So far, I can't find my cell phone.
Number two,
I'm
that
old.
there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have
Check my live.
some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, and I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Does anything happen?
Why is this one watching? Oh, I guess it just goes by.
So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to him tonight, and I'll get
Let's just
back
go
to
by
you if I
that
do.
beat.
Okay.
How many
He did
IPs are
take
watching?
one shot at question about whether this was an assassination attempt. He had demurred at the time. Now we have, an official
Well, there's no point
determination
having the other one, though.
that it is being investigated as an assassination attempt. I know this seems obvious, but they want to wait and make sure and all those things to try not to speak out of turn, which, listen, when something like this unfolds, obviously there is wild, rampant speculation. There are all sorts of things floating around online that are untrue. So,
Untrue.
Sticking to the very specific details of what we actually know in a moment like this, I think is, in fact, incredibly important.
All right,
So let's talk
you
about
don't
what
have to worry
we
about
do know,
feeling self-conscious.
because at this point they have released the name of the shooter, and we can have gleaned some details because, of course, one wants to know, okay, who is this person? We still don't know what a motive was, but this individual summed up some of the reporting that is out there, and this is consistent with what New York Times and others are reporting, even though this is just some random guy on Twitter. He just happens to do it well. So the shooter is Thomas Matthew Crooks. He is a local Pennsylvania resident. He is 20 years old. Just graduated from high school a few years ago. So he donated 15 in terms of political activity. He has no social media profile that anyone has been able to turn up so far. I saw some speculation. He may have a Discord, but none of that has come up. We don't know what was going on there, if such a thing even exists. Donated $15 to Act Blue the day of Biden's inauguration when he was 17. That went to some sort of progressive PAC that says they're fighting to restore democracy. So very sort of, standard liberal progressive type indications there. On the other hand, 8 months later, he registered to vote as a Republican. One of the photos that has emerged, he's wearing I believe of him when he is at the rally getting ready to shoot the president. He's wearing a t-shirt of a gun YouTuber. Now, what others are saying is that this gun YouTuber happens to be very apolitical,
FTW.
but certainly indications that he's a gun enthusiast. Reports are that he used an AR-15 rifle to commit this attempted assassination. And then this person says somehow the only 20-year-old on Earth without social media. So that's what we know at this point about the shooter.
The only 20-year-old in America.
A few images that I can bring you as well.
That can't hit
so you can see this person. Oh, well, first, let me show you this. This is footage that
this guy's talking. What's up, GK? You talking? Okay, back to my stream.
Emerged of him opening fire, and let me put this up on the screen. There isn't a lot to it, but you can see him here in this part, and
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what this new invention.
People saw him on the roof, and they're like, there he is. And then the people that saw him on the roof is like, why are the police not doing anything? Yeah, they had like 5 seconds. And that guy opened up like 5 shots. And they're all quick. Okay, anyways. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, here's the guy that saw it.
Nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what. Yes, or
So we had a party here all day. If you can see behind us, the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party. And we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with the rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, oh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him up the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he...
So that's in essence what he had.
Why did they not pull Trump? It was literally like 4 seconds.
I don't know what.
I was like less than 10, but that was like 4 seconds for them to do something. I mean, yeah, those cops could have pulled out a gun and shot that guy if anything. But how do they know the cops didn't even see that guy? They didn't have the same perspective that witness saw. Anyways, another frenzy. Before I leave, I gotta kill the tree, you know? With my new sword, I'm able to get it way down. Yeah, what's up, guys? Can hardly hear you, kind of blurry. Captain of the Kraken, all one word. Please subscribe. I'm live right now, just doing some chats about some different stuff, but... So I got this tree down to 7.7 after like, what? It's been like 15 minutes. It's gonna be another, I'll be in this server at least for another hour. Probably killing this same tree. That's why I want a new server when I join servers. Make sure that I can kill this tree. Because when I do, I'm getting my 500,000 NDC.
Bro, I have one.
I'm gonna need like 2.5 NDC to buy my next bonus for this sword. Okay, so what else are we going next? Oh yeah, let's go back to Joe Rogan. He's talking to David Grush. We know that Grush is the head of the UFO disclosure. Similar to that Paul Hellyer guy in Canada came out saying, yeah, they're real. But none of these guys are talking about the Galactic Federation, right?
A version of what we will become, or something like us becomes, if given enough time.
Well, that is, I mean, there's like a Dr. Mike Masters at Montana State. He literally postulates, he says time travelers, we can debate time travel, but like he thinks it might be like a advanced form of Homo sapien is what we're seeing coming back.
Yeah.
Like a breakaway civilization, or coming back to see an older version of ourselves that was left on Earth or something like that.
Well, the way we would visit like North Sentinel Island and visit those people that are trapped on an island that are uncontacted. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then a lot of there's also like cargo cult religions and stuff. The South Pacific in World War II, they worshipped the P-51 and stuff like they thought those were UFOs, but really they were just us.
So I think we were probably alien to them. I mean,
100%.
I mean, just look at how Cortez looked to the people that had no idea that people could ride horses. Like, what the fuck is going on? These guys are riding horses?
Yeah.
Like, these are gods.
These white guys coming in.
What the heck? They come on a ship in the ocean and they ride horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's all based on our limited understanding. And for someone, whether it's the federal government or whether it's military contractors, for someone to have key elements that could give us a better understanding of this whole picture,
give me some time.
It's really inexcusable to not relay that to all of humanity.
So yeah, maybe more like another half an hour job in this tree
to be secret. It's too important.
You know, I'm just
if it is real.
There's my secret
it's
hack.
too important for
tape.
someone to have access to just because they have power and money and influence.
And only that one piece of tape only gonna last a few times.
That's the whole primer for what I did. I mean, it's I think I'm a pretty moral, ethical person. I just could not live with myself if I didn't try to like make a difference, even though it was very uncomfortable. Personal privacy and professional, personal health was at risk. So
it also seems like the public understanding and appreciation of these things, particularly after the 2017 article in the New York Times, has changed. There's been a shift. Whereas before, if you would talk about UFOs or the idea of extraterrestrial life, you were automatically lumped into this group of people that believes in Bigfoot. It's like you're in the Loch Ness Monster. You're kind of a loon who likes fringe things because you've probably got problems in your own life you're not addressing, and so you're distracted. It's like a gambler or something like that. You're just like distracting yourself with this craziness in order to ignore the reality of existence itself, which is so complicated and difficult to manage. And then I think that if we had a better understanding of the overall scale of the potential of life in the universe based on what we know, like physical evidence, undeniable physical evidence that shows us that we're not alone. That would be a massive change in just the overall shift of consciousness on Earth. If we can understand that these territorial disputes that we have, which are almost always over resources or over land or over religions and ideologies, if we can understand that these are nonsense in the vast scope of the universe itself. This is the what is that effect that the people that get into the space station have, and astronauts?
Oh, the
overview
effect, yes.
Yeah.
William Shatner had that when he went up in the Blue Origin.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm sure everybody has it. I mean, I'm sure it's just like you go like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like, this is one.
There's no
and
lines.
that's how I felt. I mean, like after I found all this stuff,
There's
I
no
continued
borders
my
from
career.
space.
Made lieutenant colonel here this
There's no
winter,
countries.
Made senior executive service
We're all
a year or
people of
two.
Earth.
Did national security stuff, but I'm like sitting in my office, and I'm like, there's better things for me to care about than Russian troop movements. Like, we're not alone.
Right.
This is insane. Like, I have to, like, blow the whistle on this. This is insane. Because certainly the people who we talked to are not lying. And the documents I meticulously went through, they were not forgeries, they were not deception material. So it's just like, I have to do something.
I'm sure you've seen those Freedom of Information Act disclosure papers from the CIA from, God, it was like the 1950s, where they're detailing all the various forms of life and that we know are currently exist. And you remember that, Jamie? We pull up that document. You think you can find it? Jamie will find it.
Give me some time.
It's like 1950 something, where they were discussing these things.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure which ones you're talking about. I'd have to see them. So
it's pretty weird stuff because, like, if they knew about this in the 1950s, like, how did they know?
Well, there was like CIA docs about consciousness and like weird remote viewing stuff. I mean, besides the Stargate program that were released in the FOIA reading room on CIA's website too, that are pretty trippy. Where like, wow, CIA's looking into some really interesting stuff. I mean, they're a hardcore intel agency. What's going on?
But it makes sense that they would kind of have to find out if that's bullshit or not. Like, you can't ignore that if you're really doing your job. If your job is intelligence, like, okay, like, let's look at this.
Or it's an aspect of the phenomenon because it's like a reach out from the crash retrieval program. Like, hey, I need you to look into some weird stuff because it might be the key unlock for something that we got in a warehouse. You know?
Yeah. So, yeah. So, as it stands right now, what's the future for this stuff? What's the future for these disclosures and what are the bottlenecks?
Well, I mean, certainly from the governmental process, you know, as long as the House doesn't kill the Schumer, you know, that's why I'm discussing it here with you, because they don't pass it, it's going to be the greatest setback to humankind in U.S. history, literally. So the presidential panel gets impaneled about 90 days or so after the passage of the bill, so by Christmas, as long long as it doesn't get killed, will be in the National Defense Authorization Act. Panel will be formed, say February, March. Then they have a 300-day process to develop a initial plan for the president. And I don't know if Chuck Schumer and his staff are being kind of crafty or whatever, but the 300 days, if you actually do it out, it's like the election. So I don't know if they want to make it an election issue, which certainly, if this act doesn't pass, I think it needs to be an election issue because the senior executive needs to.
Yeah, you know what the election issue is now.
Congress can't get their shit together, to be quite honest.
Assassination.
And we have a plan out to 2030 where this stuff starts getting rolled out. Knock on wood, perfect storm, things could get delayed. But then in parallel, and that's kind of why I helped found the Soul Foundation with Gary Nolan and Dr. Peter Skafish, who's an anthropologist as well, is we wanted to figure out the STEM outreach. We wanted to figure out the public policy, national policy to advise the U.S. and its allies on this issue. You know, and we're happy.
Or suddenly a million subs come to me.
Like I said, I'm not here to slap the government in its entirety and admonish everybody. I think there needs to be the truth and reconciliation process, but I think our foundation, we want to be like, okay,
reconciliation.
Bring us in as a think tank. If, you know, based on my experience and experience of my colleagues, like, you have an issue with X, well, let's figure out how to
just punch this like button on my video.
And how to, you know, incentivize the National Science Foundation to look into this.
25 people watch me last
dual use, right? You might develop a unique scientific process that actually works well with nanobiology or something like that, but also has dual use with UAP. So there's parallel tracks. I mean, there's public discovery. There's like the Galileo project with Avi Loeb, where they're trying to, on their own, collect techno-signatures, which is, I applaud that. I mean, obviously the government does a lot about that, but we don't want to obviously rely on the U.S. government to do all the work for us and also to be honest. So I think having a parallel track and, you know, Galileo project, Soul Foundation, Ryan Graves,
I'm between frenzies.
Foundation as well for pilots.
Just request help right now.
Unique things to provide that data to people. So I think you got to have those dual tracks, and, you know, hopefully we can create a tsunami event with the U.S. government and its allies, and maybe our adversaries. But really, if the U.S. government doesn't get their house in order here, I mean, you could have uncontrolled disclosure events such that either maybe the non-human intelligence is like, yeah, let's do it, or what if one of our adversaries decides to disclose and they become the messiah figure of this, and we lose sovereignty or national supremacy in that regard from an open and honest civil society perspective.
Putin already said there's aliens.
But I think the governments, we're getting close, I think, as long as...
closer than we've ever been before.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they brought you in to have these conversations.
Yeah, no, I'm still advising U.S. government on this.
Biden's too old to have anything.
I'm trying to carefully message this, put all the broad things on the table. And I'm not trying to be coy, I'm not trying to conceal anything, but it's like there's real national security and collateral damage with just releasing this willy-nilly. I'm just trying to get the government to get a plan together here and just be open and honest with the people of the world, really. So.
And there's still the bottleneck with these military contractors that allegedly have access to these things.
Yeah, and like to those guys, and I know some of them, and the individuals that hold the keys, like, this is a boon. Like, this is, don't look at it like you're going to lose money. This is a recruiting opportunity. Yes, you're going to have to let other people in the cookie jar how a fair and free society works, and they should be able to compete for work. And because that was one of the main, I talked to some individuals that were at an informal session for a previous administration on should we disclose or not.
Like Skunkworks doesn't even let anyone in there.
Really insightful what they told me. And one of the biggest impasses to disclosure wasn't the ontological shock from a socioeconomic or theological perspective. It was, well, there's some white-collar crime, we violated the federal acquisition regulations, we sole-sourced this work to some big companies for decades. Contractors are going to litigate this to the Supreme Court, saying they lost billions of projected income because they didn't get the bid on the work. And it's going to be this, like, liability disaster for the U.S. government. And the problem with that is, I understand that, but, like, That's why you need to have a truth and reconciliation process. It's almost like
on a TV show,
the Truth
like
and
10 years
Reconciliation
ago.
Commission in post-apartheid South
You're
Africa.
saying something exactly
people
like
who committed like
Black Manta
this
had like 150 nukes on board.
Rico, and they don't get convicted of those crimes. And I'm not saying, I mean, people who've committed murder as it relates to this subject, okay, we should probably hold them accountable, but for some of this stuff, there needs to be a process where we kind of mitigate some of those unfortunate legal issues. But that was one of the main issues a certain group for a reasonably recent administration came up with and advised that president, hey, look, there's going to be a lot of Supreme Court stuff. Let's not be that guy. So it's like that's the barrier. That's the reason.
Finish off with a frenzy. I'm gonna go next year. Maybe I'll play a different game too.
It makes sense though that they would think that way because I do believe the lawsuits would emerge from something like that.
Oh, certainly, and and also it's like the government admitting that we can't protect its citizenry. These non-human intelligence, want to do something to you. Sorry, we don't have any countermeasures to that. It's like this. There's a social contract between the citizens and the government.
Right.
We can protect you, etc. And like in this case, it's like it's an enigma. But I think this is almost like remember like after 9/11, I was in high school when 9/11
and they protected you. They probably
people were afraid of dirty bombs, terrorists. We didn't know what was going to happen next. We lived in fear, but we banded together in the presence of fear and apprehension, and
no one's worried about nuclear war right now. Yeah, okay.
And we made it through it. I mean, that's a coarse analogy to this, but people just have to think in that mindset, like it's going to be a little scary. It's not going to be like kumbaya. Let's move the shit to the Smithsonian and check it out. It's going to be there's awkward and
maybe I'll hit a frenzy.
Things we're going to have to address sociologically, I guess.
Are you optimistic about how all this lays out?
Maybe
I am. I mean, it's kind of like when I was testifying in the public hearing, oddly bipartisan in a good way. I had AOC and Matt Gaetz like agreeing on something, and they were like smiling at each other.
That's crazy.
This is crazy. I'm like, look, there's AOC, there's Matt Gaetz, there's Tim Burchett. I mean, there's like people, Garcia, like people that wouldn't see eye to eye on those subjects.
It's such a human issue.
Because they want to know the truth too.
Right.
And I don't think the leaders in Congress want to be told that they're second-class citizens. I mean, a lot of presidents weren't briefed everything. Some presidents knew a lot more than others, and I have a pretty good beat on that. And it's like, wait, the chief executive that also
they didn't tell Trump
forms foreign policy.
You would have spilled the beans.
You don't tell them about ostensibly a foreign element. So how do they, as chief of state, how do they form foreign policy when you don't fully brief them on a foreign element? It's like classifying the existence of Russia.
Right.
So you're actually non-constitutional by not allowing our commander-in-chief all information sometimes. And I don't know what Harry Reid talked to Joe Biden. I mean, it was certainly the substance that I mentioned here, and I hope that Joe Biden has been briefed on the program, so to speak. At least I'm giving him an oral unclassified briefing right now. I guess if he hasn't been, and I'm happy to talk to Jake Sullivan or Avril Haines. And Avril Haines, if she's not briefed, like she's supposed to be briefed all intelligence in the country. It's 50 U.S. Code, Section 3024. The Director of National Intelligence is allowed everything from all federal agencies that's intel related. Well, ma'am, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a problem because you're not being briefed by CIA Director and some other agencies. So.
Well, listen, David, I really appreciate what you've done. I think you've done a great service to humanity just by taking a stand and communicating these ideas and letting people know how much of this is real. And, you've opened up a world of discourse that probably would not have existed if you hadn't done that.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, this is not easy.
I'm sure. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here. And
oh my goodness.
Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right, bye everybody.
I guess I will use a fight. That point 3 took a while. Thanks, Joe. Getting everybody more involved with David Grush and his own personal stuff, because I don't know, I kind of thought he might have been full of S, but he seems pretty legit. There's definitely some UFO stuff going on. Signs of atmosphere. Alright. Oh, let's check this out. 5 hours ago, I never really heard of signs of atmosphere before. Obviously the James Webb. I wonder how far this planet is.
I know we only just met, but I can't imagine my life without you.
Aww. Bond. I can't
Located
imagine
just
my life without you
49
either.
light years away in the constellation Cetus, this exoplanet, through observations from the James Webb Space Telescope, is emerging as a front-runner in our quest for liquid water and perhaps life beyond our solar system. In
So
this
here on
video,
Captain of the Kraken
we will delve
YouTube
into
channel,
the
we
fascinating
talk about diverse
characteristics of
subjects.
LHS
Of course.
1140b, exploring its
We all get
potential
into
to
lion's
support
mane
life
mushrooms.
and what makes it a unique candidate for further study. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yeah, and they're not bad tasting either. It's just kind of just eating powder is the hard part, right?
Discovered in 2017 by the Mirth Project, LHS 1140b quickly became a subject of intense interest among astronomers. This exoplanet is located in a region of the sky dominated by the constellation Cetus, often referred to as the Whale. At a cosmic stone's throw away of 49 light years, it offers a rare opportunity for detailed study, particularly with the advanced instruments we have today. From the outset, this exoplanet was a puzzle.
20% of the speed of light will still get there in 10 years.
It could be a mini Neptune, a type of planet with qualities between those of Earth and the gas
If we had
giants
ships,
like
I could do
Neptune.
that.
This category of planets, while intriguing, often indicates environments too hostile or volatile for life as we understand it. However, LHS 1140b also showed potential signs of being a rocky terrestrial planet, which captured the interest of scientists.
How do you show
considering
signs
the
of being a
prospects
gas
for
giant
habitability.
and being a rocket?
The new data collected by Webb strongly points towards this exoplanet being more of an icy, potentially watery world rather than a gas giant. This revelation comes from a detailed analysis of the planet's transit across its host star, which allows scientists to examine the backlight from the star filtered through the planet's atmosphere, a technique known as transmission spectroscopy. The habitable zone is the key term here. This is because this exoplanet orbits within this zone around its red dwarf star, a zone where temperatures are just right for liquid water to exist. This positioning is crucial because water is a cornerstone of life as we know it. The planet's size and mass further complicate the picture. Being 1.7 times the size of Earth and about 7 times its mass, it falls into the category of a super-Earth. These planets are particularly exciting because they could have thick atmospheres and potentially support water in various forms, from vapor to liquid to ice. So given its proximity and the clarity with which we can study it, this planet stands out in the cosmic crowd. It represents a bridge between the often abstract concept of exoplanets and the more tangible, researchable celestial bodies that could answer the age-old question, are we alone in the universe?
What changes the format?
Initial results from Webb suggest that this exoplanet might host a nitrogen-rich atmosphere, similar to Earth's. This is an eye-opening hint, because a nitrogen-dominated atmosphere can stabilize a planet's climate and support the presence of liquid water at the surface. Such an atmosphere could buffer the temperature swings and radiation effects from the host star, making conditions potentially amenable to life. However, confirming the presence of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other vital gases in this planet's atmosphere requires more observation. Each pass of the planet in front of its star offers a unique opportunity to capture more data, enhancing our understanding of its atmospheric composition. These observations...
You know what? Let's see who else is online right now. See if anyone's chilling. Gotta disengage my hack tape. Anyone invite me? No one's invited me. Do you want to get chained together? Dogs are going crazy. This tree already hit it pretty hard. 10% down. Little man can't handle himself. Activate another golden tree. Let's go. How excited. Hey, maybe we'll just see a little bit something on Lion's Mane.
Oh my freaking gosh.
Something quick. Found a few. What? No way.
Going into an office, working 50 hours a week, having that structure.
This SciShow video is supported by Shopify, an e-commerce platform that helps you start, grow, and As you get older, your brain doesn't maintain itself the way it used to, and mushrooms could be a key to keeping your brain healthy. People have known about the medicinal value of mushrooms for centuries, and academic research mostly on lion's mane mushrooms seems to support the generational knowledge on the topic. Through studies in individual cells, in rodents, and in humans, scientists have found that specific compounds in lion's mane mushrooms stimulate nerves and brain cells to grow and keep them alive longer. And labs across the world are now uncovering some important clues as to why mushrooms can be so beneficial. Under usual circumstances, many different cells in your body, including neurons and other brain cells, grow and survive thanks to the work of nerve growth factors. These are proteins that your body makes, which bind to receptors on those cells and initiate a whole cascade of signals, ending in either the cell's death or growth. So nerve growth factors are really important in keeping your cells alive and well. And scientists have figured out that extracts of lion's mane mushrooms stimulate cell growth by making those growth factors better at their job. They basically tell your body to make more nerve growth factors so they can initiate growth. For example, when scientists exposed adrenal cells from rats to the lion's mane extracts, they found that the cells grew more. And not just more than cells that didn't get any mushrooms, but even more than cells that were exposed to natural amounts of nerve growth factors. So mushroom extracts stimulated growth in those cells better than what they are exposed to in a healthy living rat. And that happens because they both stimulate activity in those nerve growth factors and mimic them, using compounds called hericinones to produce similar growth on their own. So they not only stimulate growth factors, but they also simulate growth factors. Through those methods, lion's mane mushrooms help brain cells grow bigger, extend outward to interact with other cells, and stay alive. And all those cellular benefits can translate to better brain function. A 2017 collaboration across Switzerland, Italy, and Slovenia found that supplementing mouse diets with lion's mane mushrooms for 2 months improved their memory. In that study, mice were fed mushrooms for 2 months and then observed as they performed a commonly used memory test. Mushroom-eating mice were drawn more toward new things, which suggested that they remembered the old stimuli better than mice that didn't eat a mushroom-enriched diet. So sometimes the data really does add up, because the experiments on cells in dishes lined up nicely with experiments on mice. Lion's mane mushrooms increased the creation of new cells in the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, and improved memory. So those new cells are doing things. The same study found that mushroom consumption was also associated with brain cells in the hippocampus being more active and releasing more neurotransmitters. So brain cells were not only growing more to reach out and connect with more cells, but also actively communicating more with other cells. Now, in addition to apparently improving growth and communication, there's also evidence that some of these mushroom compounds may help your brain cells live longer. In brain cells and the brain's immune cells, there's an enzyme that causes inflammation and often leads to cell death. A Korean study on mice published in 2019 found that a low dose of lion's mane mushrooms decreased the number of brain cells expressing that enzyme, providing an anti-inflammatory effect in keeping those cells from dying. That effect comes from a different set of mushroom compounds called aranacines, which initiate another cascade of signals that reduces inflammation. So some cellular studies are pointing to hericinones, and some rodent studies are suggesting aranacines are the mushroom compounds to thank for improved brain cell function and memory. But what happens in us humans? Well, the mushrooms seem to provide similar benefits to us, but scientists aren't quite sure which compounds are creating those effects. In a 2019 Japanese study, people who took mushroom powder 4 times a day for 12 weeks scored higher on a memory test than the placebo group and higher than they had scored before taking the supplements. And the growth factors that were so critical in cellular experiments are also deficient in people diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, so there may be some important implications for this research in the future. For now, evidence suggests that nerve growth factors are the proteins behind this mushroom's effect, but researchers still aren't quite sure how the mushroom makes them tick. Some researchers suspect that haricinones are major contributors because there are a lot of them in the fruiting part of the mushroom, and they're known to stimulate growth factors. Other compounds like aranacines have also been proposed because studies in human cells have found that haricinones alone don't provide the same benefits as whole mushrooms do, at least not at natural concentrations, and aranacines are known to stimulate growth factors. So researchers are still trying to figure out what exactly about the mushrooms leads to their restorative effect. It might be a combination of haricinones, aranacines, and maybe even others too. But either way, they tend to agree that lion's mane mushrooms have the potential to be really good brain food. Speaking of things that are good for your brain, thanks for watching this SciShow video. You can find more SciShow videos like this one on YouTube, and while you're there, you can buy or sell all sorts of cool products through Shopify's integration with YouTube Shopping. Shopify is an e-commerce platform, which means they make it easy for you to sell cool stuff. There's not really many days that go by in which I don't encounter some entrepreneur somewhere who's figured out how to make a product that a lot of people are really excited about, energized for, and are buying like crazy, all because Shopify allowed them to take all the hard part away and focus on their product. And Shopify has a step-by-step guide for how to instantly sync your products to YouTube. They make sure all the important information like prices and images are up on YouTube, up to date, and in agreement with your Shopify catalog. You can use this integration to tag or pin specific products at specific times during a live stream video so viewers can shop while they watch videos. To take advantage of all those resources and a 14-day free trial, you can head to shopify.com/SciShow. And thank you to Shopify for supporting this SciShow video.
That's it. Double S. Who knows when there's double S? English is so weird. Did I say that as an only English speaker? I only speak English. But I have learned a little bit of many, many languages. And
This is Star Talk.
and they're all like.
Edition.
I always
And
just
you know
think,
that
oh,
means
this language is backwards, this language is backwards. But we're the ones that are backwards. Everyone else speaks the same way, kind of, except for English. Our language, our grammar and stuff, is backwards to everyone else's. And we have so many different words for the same things. And it's just like weird. There's like the rules, they're like, these are the rules of grammar when you say things or when you spell things, and they don't even follow. They're not always true. So people are like, oh yeah, I before E, except after C. That's not even a rule. That's just something that happens. Or it's a rule, but rules can be broken. Anyways, nobody wants to hear about grammar. Let's play some Fortnite. Trump assassin. Okay, yeah, I just want to put lion's mane, because we talked about lion's mane now. I am all for mushrooms and their magic powers, if you know what I mean. Let's put in, who was he? Well, too many words. Let's delete mushrooms. One. I'll take the comma out here, and bam, there we go. No, oh, I'm still 10 over. Live. Delete new hack. There you go. It's not that right there. All saved up. Back to the chat. What's up? You can barely hear me? I'll put the mic right here. What are you guys playing? Maybe your volume's too low. Or maybe, no, my mic's pretty good usually. I never usually have problems. Not never. I usually don't have problems with people hearing me. But then again, I was speaking over a TV, so. Let's see who's playing Lumberjack Heroes. That's oldie. Anyways, yeah, I gotta smash my tree. Oh yeah, plus the sound of this tree chopping. You know what, I do want to get... Wait, do I have, Epic launcher on this computer? I couldn't find the download for Unreal Engine on my other computer through Epic Launcher. I definitely want that though. Don't look at my password. Sorry, I had to hide my password. Oh no. No way. Adobe's are getting restless. Okay, and now I gotta put the code in. Yeah, not like a password can help you really, unless you had my phone. If you type it from any new location or you get it wrong one time, that's what the 2FA is good for, you know? 9-4. You log in from new next location that you logged in last time, or use the wrong password and it's gonna ask you for 2FA. Yeah, so I want Unreal Engine. Okay, dogs are quiet all day. Then I give them their food, and then they start barking. Okay. Get support or restart your Epic Game Launcher to download in step 1. Once you download it, open the launcher and create or log in your Epic account. Navigate to the Unreal Engine tab, that's what I did, and click the install button to download the most recent version. Okay, I'm gonna watch this video. This video on how to install. I want to make a game, man. Like, this game is way more addictive than I expected. So many people are playing it that whoever made this is, if they didn't make $1 million, they at least made 6 figures, which is like over 100,000. Between 100,000 and $1 million, I'd be happy for that for working for a year. I'd gladly work for Epic for a year to make 100K any day. And I'm talking Canadian funds. But I'm probably quoting American money. So 100K in American is probably like 130, 40K Canadian. Okay, oh, it just says install engine. Library. Sparky Boy. I'm gonna go to Sparky Boy. I'm gonna go to Party Channel. Oh, he's in Mega Boy. Sparky Boy, join my channel. Okay. What's up, guys? Hey, what's up? Hello? I can't come to the lobby right now because I'm half done this tree right now. But I'm in a joinable game. Whoa. Oh, shoot. Or you can watch me on YouTube. Captain of the Kraken, all one word. I'm just trying to install Unreal Engine too right now. Let's go back. I'm going to leave the channel right now because you guys aren't even talking. Okay, game channel. Game channel. Press the mic. Oh yeah, I'm gonna activate a. I think I need 2.5 VG to do my next. I might be wrong, but anyways. I gotta chop this tree before I do anything now. Now I'm 40% done it. Yeah, this game's pretty tedious sometimes, but it's fun. I like helping people, so. Look at that. So it says pretty easy right there. Okay, so install engine. Okay, damn. What's that? You know what? This is further than I've ever got before. Sure, Epic Games location. Yeah, install up, bro. Bling bling. And my internet's fast right now. Oh. Watch it be like 100 gigs, 20% of my internet gone again. Whatever, it is what it is. How big is it? Because I'm not going to want to download it so many times if it's... No, but I'm going to need it again if he wants me to put it on a better... if I need a best graphics card. Okay, 36 gigs. Only 7 is available. You know what? I might watch a movie right now anyway, so I might, but now, okay, now I figured out how to do it. See, just watch a video. You don't know how to do something in life, guys. That's my last advice for today. You don't know how to do something, watch a video on YouTube. YouTube is the solution to everything. You know, I can't really say that about any other streaming network. You know, Netflix, Amazon, they're cool, whatever. But you can always pirate shows that you watch there anyways. If they're good. If they're really good and there's a fan base, you should be able to get them for free. But I am, you know, I'm a Prime member for the deliveries, as you can see, but, so with that comes the TV streaming network for free. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there, that the good stuff, they charge you extra money. It's like having the Disney Channel attached to something, or, you know, just because you had something doesn't mean you're gonna... Wingman. Oh, these Star Wars fan fictions are alright too. Let's just check. Is this real life or just like sometimes they're just like comics, still images, and they speak over them. But even that, it's great to watch when you're going to sleep. You don't want to look at something because you know light is bad for you before you go to sleep. You know. X-Wing story. Yo, that's one thing you can do with Unreal Engine too these days, or other AI. Video makers. Oh, this is like legit, maybe. No, that's like still image. No, that's moving. Just want to scan through this quick. Oh yeah, real people? What? Nice. This is like real. This is the best one I've seen so far. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this. 50 minutes long too. Sometimes that's long enough, you know, especially for these like, you know, they're not always the best. They got pretty decent actors, some of them though, but they don't always have the best plot lines, the best music. So, you know, you can get kind of bored of them after an hour. I mean, you really need an intricate plot and character development if you want to make something 90 minutes. So. Well, I don't know. I'm not a movie producer, but that would be fun. I've always thought about it. I need a team, though. So when I come join my team, like one of my intro videos about me says, you want to come join the crew? I'm like Luffy. One day I'll be the king of the pirates. Well, Luffy's lucky to have 4 good friends or whatever he's got. Good friends are hard to come by. And that being said, I'm going to end the stream for the day. I don't want to get bored. Boring. Oh, my camera died anyways. Wow.